A sneaky player the Seattle Mariners should acquire this offseason. Let's talk about it. So there was an article written the other day by MLB Trade Rumors where 4 writers basically predicted the top 50 free agents and their landing spots. So obviously I was going through and looking for where the Seattle Mariners were mentioned, and there was a player that was brought up that I had never heard of. This player is Hyeseong Kim, and not the one that is the shortstop on the San Diego Padres. This player is a KBO League player, and he is being posted this offseason. So in this video, we're going to be talking about a little bit about who he is as a player and why he might just be the perfect fit for the Seattle Mariners this offseason. So per MLB Trade Rumors, by the way, this article was written by 4 writers where each of them predicted what team this individual player would go to, and Hyeseong Kim was predicted to go for a 3-year, $24 million deal this offseason, where 2 of the writers, Tim and Steve, predicted that he will become a Seattle Mariner. So like I said, he is a player in the KBO League, which is a league in South Korea, and he actually was teammates with the San Diego Padres shortstop, and he will be turning 26 this January, and he's coming off probably his best season ever. And if this projection of his salary is true, then this 3-year, $24 million deal or $8 million AAV is definitely something the Seattle Mariners can afford. Before we get into some of his stats for the KBO League, it was actually oddly convenient that Jon Morosi also posted on X yesterday that the Mariners, known to be in the second base market, are among the teams that have closely evaluated infielder Hyeseong Kim, whom the Kiwon Heroes will post this offseason. So it was a little bit convenient that he actually posted about that yesterday, showing that the Mariners have already showed interest in him. And yes, of course, it's Jon Morosi, but nonetheless, he still posted that yesterday, which is still intriguing to hear that the Mariners are definitely still interested in getting Kim this offseason. But no more about all of that. Let's get into the player that Kim is. So Kim is primarily an infielder, mainly at second base, but he is actually the only KBO player ever to win the Golden Glove Award at both shortstop and second base. He is a very good base runner as well as a great defender with solid speed. And as you're going to be able to tell from his statistics, his game is much more contact-based than it is power-based. Some scouts actually predict that he will be a utility player more than he will be stuck into one position, but I think if he were to become a Seattle Mariner this season, then he would probably be the everyday second baseman. So on top of Kim's impressive stats, he is actually a 3-time Gold Glove Award winner from 2021 to 2023, but like I said, he is still the only KBO player to ever win it at both shortstop and second base. One thing to keep in mind that I also did hear from one of you guys over on X is that the KBO actually gives out Gold Gloves to just the best overall players at that said position, so I'm not sure if, obviously he's a very good defender either way, but that is what I heard. But nonetheless, let's get into some of his hitting statistics. So as you can see by these stats on your screen, he just continues to get better and better every single year. This season, he had the most home runs he has ever hit. He had never had double-digit home runs except this past year in 2024, where he had 11 home runs. But ever since 2020, he has never hit below 300, 304, 318, 335, and 326, as well as in 2023 and 2024, he had an 842 and an 841 OPS, which is fantastic. He doesn't drive in a ton of runs, but he still had 75 RBIs in 2024, which is pretty dang solid. And another thing that stands out is his stolen base column: 31, 20, 25, 46, 34, 25, and 30, so the guy can run. If I were to give you guys a quick player comp on who he probably would remind me of and who he would match up well with in the Mariners lineup, would be someone like Victor Robles, who is not going to hit for a ton of power, but he's going to get on base a lot and cause absolute havoc on the base paths. The Seattle Mariners definitely need to add a guy that has another high average, someone like Victor Robles, who hopefully can continue that success in 2025, but somebody that just hits for high average, isn't necessarily worried about the long ball. But then again, on the contrary, they also need to add somebody who is kind of like Cal and just hits for a lot of power. But also another thing to keep in mind about the KBO League is that I also heard that it's very much similar to AAA pitching. And I'm kind of going to explain how Hyeseong Kim from the Padres struggled when he first came over from the KBO League. So shout out to Ryan for sending these statistics over, but this is kind of showing how Hyeseong Kim struggled when he first came over from the KBO League. So in 138 KBO games at 24 years old, he hit 306 with a 397 on base percentage, 21 stolen bases, and a 141 WRC+. But when he came over to the major leagues at 25 years old, he played in 117 MLB games with a 202 average, a 270 on base percentage, only 6 stolen bases, and only a 71 WRC+. And like he notes at the bottom, he did get to a 105 and a 110 WRC plus in 2022 and 2023, but it wasn't an immediate success. So that is absolutely something that we have to take in mind during this process if the Mariners were to really go out and get him, is there's definitely going to be a transition period. It would actually be awesome if there wasn't a massive transition period and it was just very smooth sailing from the start, but obviously the odds of that are very low. But either way, this definitely seems like a solid fit for the Mariners. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind during this is that the Mariners have not acquired somebody from the KBO League since 2016 when they acquired Daeho Lee, who had only played one season for the Mariners before returning to the KBO League to play again with the Lottie Giants from 2017 to 2022. Lee definitely had a pretty good season in his first season at the Major League level, hitting .253 with 14 home runs and 49 RBIs. But that is definitely something to consider, is that they have not really gone into the KBO market much in about 8 years. But another reason why this could be a solid fit for the Mariners, not only in 2025, but also going forward, is that, like I said, he could be a utility player that most scouts think he will be. And with Dylan Moore becoming a free agent in 2025, maybe if they do get him on a 3 to 4 year contract, Kim can take over Dylan Moore's role in that utility kind of position. That is obviously if he struggles in an everyday role, but I don't really see him coming over and having too much of a problem with it. So I think when you think about all the free agent second basemen on the market and compare him to possibly a guy like Kim, I think Kim is honestly the perfect fit and somebody the Seattle Mariners really need in this lineup. One thing I also forgot to mention is that besides Kim having a career year in terms of home runs with 11, he also had a career low strikeout rate of 10.9%. Now, with that being said, I do not believe a 10.9% is very doable at the major league level, especially for a guy transitioning, but I do think it is something that he could definitely keep low and probably keep around a 15-16%. But nonetheless, I do think that this is a perfect fit for the Seattle Mariners to fill their everyday second base role, and it is something that obviously John Stanton loves that is very affordable. But let me know if you guys have heard of this player and if you do think he will be a great fit in Seattle. Otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.